And therefore, Rigathi Gachagua has almost specialized as an expert in causing trouble for the Kenyatta family. And for him to pull out of that, it may look not genuine. Rigathi Gachagua himself has created a mongrel out of his character that makes it impossible to define him, to understand him, to give him a face that is in tandem with the realities of the day.
Truly delighted to have you on Richard Mwenje exclusive. Of course, it's the third week of February, the year of our Lord 2024. It's always a true delight to have you on board. The ship is Richard Mwenje exclusive. We wait to see you on this edition and many more others to come. I am Richard Mwenje, your resident host here, discussing a plethora of issues in the world of politics and governance. And who better to help me dissect into this conversation other than the think tank and powerhouse himself, former cabinet minister Ruto Arab Kiro. Looking sharp and laid back as usual, sir.
Well, it's my pleasure all the time to make a contribution to a beautiful society called Kenya. I always believe that each one of us has a role to play. However modest, however small, however big, each one of us has that role.
After Kenyans watched our previous video with you, they really applauded your beautiful home. And they would wish to come and visit you soon. Are you open to visit us anytime soon?
We've done a number of weddings here. Yes, because we just need to schedule. And I don't mind.
At a small fee though?
No, that's part of my CSR.
Oh really?
Yeah, as long as you don't mess the compound, you just come, clean it after you've used it, and this is your home.
A sigh of relief, that one for me and the team who are still unmarried. Yeah. When the time comes, we already have a venue here.
Yeah, inform me in good time so that I make it better.
Very well.
Yeah.
That of the way, straight into today's conversation, and that has to do with matters to do with the larger Mount Kenya politics. And how about we start from the recent development, that is the unease that has come up from President Uhu Kenyatta's, former President Kenyatta's public appearance, especially that one when he was there to attend the burial of former police boss Kingori. And from his conversation and remarks at the burial, we saw him implore the current leaders not to govern while looking at the rear view mirror. Instead, focus on the future, deliver on the promises to the citizens, and not really take the blame to their predecessors. From where you sit, are we there really at a country whereby our leaders, current crop of leaders, are marked at the past instead of focusing on where we should be as a nation?
Well, there is enough evidence from recorded conversations between the deputy president and the president himself, reminding us that one, they took over the country when they had empty coffers, blaming the debt situation on those who were there before, although they were part of that regime, and also reminding us that we are doing better than those who came before them. And the wisdom that one needs to give them is that don't spend time telling us the past. Give us hope and the future, the present and the future for this country.
Very well. And I have actually to sort of quote what DP had to say following the remarks by former President Uhu Kenyatta. And his response was, I heard somebody say that Ruto should not look at the rear view mirror. I want to encourage you to look at the rear view mirror because the inventor of the motor vehicle was not mad when he put it there. Ruto must continuously look at the rear view mirror to make sure that all Kenyans are on board. He's speaking concern with the imploration from Uhu Kenyatta. Do you find that Rigathi Gachagua is marked right at the center of past rather than the present?
I think the main problem that we have with the current regime is that they are obsessed with what happened or what did not happen. And yet we know, we learn from history, that if you spend a lot of time telling us the failures of your predecessor, people are not likely to see what you have achieved as an individual for the intervening period. My request to them is that they should spend more time explaining their policy position, downloading the manifesto, and allowing it to be implementable in terms of collective vision of the current regime vis-a-vis the promises they gave. Looking at rearview mirror is a sign of a very bad driver, because that driver is likely to knock a donkey crossing the road, because he will be spending time to see who is chasing me, who is behind me, instead of seeing what is in front of me. That is my worry, and I say so not as a student of politics alone, but somebody well briefed in issues governance and leadership.
Very well. Moving on swiftly, the very same Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has actually a fortnight ago implored Gema residents to respect whom he refers to as the king, that is William Ruto, and that they need to tone down on public heckling, booing the president anytime he's on the development tours and any other tour in the region. From where you see it, do you think that that should be the case that should be playing out of Mount Kenya?
The little I know about the people of Mount Kenya is that they are very respectful of authority. And if the president has been heckled or booed at any stage, it must be a product of issues that are not resonating with the promises they made. And number two, it may be also a product of competition among the players in Kenya Kwanza, nothing to do with it being engineered from outside by those they call detractors of their programs. Otherwise, I don't think President Uhu Kenyatta or any one of us in Azimio will spend time trying to see how to make life unbearable for the president. Because the president is a symbol of unity and is also a unifying force for a country. That's why a few minutes ago we were talking about him supporting Prime Minister Raila Odinga for the position of AU Commission chairperson.
You're actually a seasoned politician and an expert in matters governance. And let me get your understanding on this. What could be informing the revolt against DP Rigathi Gachagua taking too long to tone down? Why are we seeing a case of public revolt against him? Most of the time he makes public remarks, or anytime he's trying to spearhead a certain agenda, oftentimes people would want to go against it. Why the revolt?
Well, there is a common word in research that we call, well, there are 3 or 4 words. But the most important one is what we call ontology. Ontology is more of the status of affairs as they are, without being disturbed, that the researcher will find himself in as a beginning point. Then, what does it mean with Rigathi Gachagua? Rigathi Gachagua himself has created a mongrel out of his character that makes it impossible to define him, to understand him, to give him a face that is in tandem with the realities of the day. This therefore means that he blames others on his own failures instead of rising to the occasion and knowing that if you are in a position of leadership, in a public position, the public has a right to comment about you. Sticking
to those corridors, and particularly to do with the political style of Rigathi Gachagua, if that's the trend, if he chooses to continue that political lifestyle, or actually the political style, how much of a Herculean task is it likely to be for him to ascend to the topmost seat, that is to be the Mount Kenya kingpin, and on the other hand, the President of the Republic of Kenya?
Well, he has to make a clear choice because the two of them are not necessarily antagonistic to each other. You can still command respect from the region you come from, at the same time aspire for national position. But he has been doing a lot of work to do what we call self-destruction. And he runs the risk of being the deputy president that never went beyond that particular office. If he is lucky to retain it in the next election, either out of losing as a pair or him being dropped as part of the pair.
I've had this conversation with you many times, looking at the political future of Rigathi Gachagua, and what has come from you oftentimes is that you consider him to be a spineless politician, sort of more of a political greenhorn and toddler. Do you still hold the same thought?
No, I am slightly more kind to him in the sense that he has climbed the ladder very fast. Remember, he served only for 5 years as a member of parliament, and the next 5 years now he's serving as a deputy president. There are not many people who have been able to scale the ladder as fast as that. I think in the recent history, perhaps we can remember Dr. Josephat Karanja, who rose within, I think, 1 year to become the vice president of the republic during Moi regime. Otherwise, Rigathi Gachagua has been lucky to serve for 5 years as a member of parliament, and the next 5 years is already a deputy president, which is second in command. That is a feat in itself. As to whether that trajectory is going to be maintained will depend on his own character and his own capacity to tolerate those who don't agree with him.
Looking at one of the open tabs and potential tabs for him to maintain that trajectory, even take it a notch higher, do you think this is a potential window of opportunity for him, that of turning around the fortunes of Mount Kenya region, which oftentimes have been dragged behind due to the illicit liquor menace and alcoholism in the region? Because right now he's really trying to tame down that vice. Do you think that's a potential tab for him to tap deeper into it?
It depends on how he handles it. If he handles it very well, that may give him a lot of fortunes. But if he mishandles it, may become a source of his weakness. Because you are dealing with people who already are convinced that what they are doing is right, and you must take them out of that life and show them the way. If they don't agree with you and they're in majority, you run the risk of being left by the wayside or being carried away by the storm.
You are a close ally of former President Uhu Kenyatta, and from where he sits, let me get your thought on it. Do you think he's someone who is likely to embrace Rigathi Gachagua at some point in the near future, should Rigathi tone down on back-to-back attacks on him and literally trying to find mess in the entire tenure Uhuru was as the president of Kenya?
Well, in politics, once you specialize either as a heckler or a rabble-rouser or a man of high integrity, people find it very hard to change. And therefore, Rigathi Gachagua has almost specialized as an expert in causing trouble for the Kenyatta family. And for him to pull out of that, it may look not genuine. My prayer for him and my request to him is to spend more time thinking about Kenya instead of thinking about the Kenyatta family.
Well, there you have it. The minister's request is for Rigathi Gachagua to spend more time thinking about Kenya and not the Kenyatta's family. There you have it, that point by former cabinet minister Kipruto Arap Kiro takes us to the wrap of this conversation today on matters politics and governance, and particularly taking a special bias on Mount Kenya politics and the political future of none other than the second in command, that is DP, Rigathi Gachagua. Until we meet next on this particular show on my alternative, that is trademark show, Business Glide, do enjoy the rest of your day.